Debbie and I watched this morning the press conference at 9 a.m. Eastern with Representative James Comer and a bunch of people from the Oversight Committee. Andy Biggs was there, Nancy Mace was there, and others. And they laid out for the first time some new information about the Biden family corruption. And there are several points that need to be highlighted. I don't know what's going to happen with all this because it's very disturbing. It is powerful evidence. It is bank records. It's transfers. And so it's indisputable as far as I can see. In fact, no one has really questioned it. The only objections that we've heard so far to the initial release of this kind of information is, well, this is troubling, but it didn't occur when Joe Biden was vice president. As it turns out, it did. In one case, Representative Comer outlines 17 payments from a Romanian entity, bribery payments, clearly, for Hunter Biden, for Joe Biden, for other members of the Biden family, and 16 of the 17 payments occur while Biden is vice president. So that blows out of the water this idea that it didn't happen during Biden's tenure at office. Short answer, it did. A second point that the left raises in regard to these transactions is the idea that, well, Trump and his organization and his entity also had business relationships abroad during Trump's tenure. So the idea here is let's cover for the Bidens by a kind of whataboutism. What about Trump? But the problem here is that the two situations are not similar. Trump has an international business. He has golf courses. He has resorts. He of course was a television star and he made television deals. So the Trump organization is an organization that set up a $1 billion plus franchise, and it has legitimate business dealings. So and those business operations continue, of course, not with Trump himself, but Eric Trump running the company. And so this is not the same. What is the Biden family's international business? There is none. What is their domestic business? There is none. So this is a point that Comer and company made today, that Biden's only business is politics. And so the only thing that he has to sell is influence. And you find this influence, well, today's press conference focused really on transactions coming from Romania and transactions coming from China, both of them extremely disturbing. The Romanian guy is a Romanian tycoon who was subsequently convicted of obstruction of justice and was being investigated for corruption. And this guy is funneling money to the Bidens. Now, the way this is done is itself very revealing because the money typically goes to some Biden associate, not to Biden himself, some Biden associate, a guy like Rob Walker. They collect the money, and then in a predictable way, this money is then dispersed to a series of shell accounts. These are LLCs, limited liability corporations, that are ways of paying the Bidens, and then the money ends up in the Biden family's own account. And not just Hunter Biden. One of the first things that James Comer said at the outset, this isn't just about Hunter Biden. Comer had previously said, don't go ahead and indict Hunter Biden as if you're acting like he was the kingpin. He's not the kingpin. He's the bag man. 9 Bidens at least are involved, and there could be more. So Hallie Biden is involved, and the president's brother, James Biden, is involved, and Frank Biden is involved, and Joe Biden himself gets a direct portion of the cut. So think of what habitual liars these are. Joe Biden, I don't know anything about my family's business. I don't know anything about Hunter's business. Yes, he does. In fact, he's had personal meetings with these business associates. He knows all about it. I wouldn't be surprised if he devised the scheme. And then, of course, he's the boss. He's Don Corleone. I mean, you might have a consigliere. I mean, to me, Hunter Biden, if you're applying the kind of Godfather analogy, is basically Fredo. Remember the weirdo son who basically was kind of a misfit and didn't really know what's going on, was kind of a creep. Well, Fredo was the guy. Fredo is Hunter. But then there are many other Biden family members involved. And you not only have this Romanian guy pouring money into the Bidens, and by the way, this is at a time when Joe Biden goes to Romania, is lecturing them about the need to avoid corruption. I mean, the irony is just so powerful. Joe Biden, fighting corruption is the key to a democracy. Meanwhile, money is flowing under the table into the Biden family from Romanian business entities. And then China. You've got people closely connected with the Chinese Communist Party, people who actually have a supervisory role in Chinese intelligence, people who are close to to Premier Xi. And these are people sending money to the Biden family, again, through intermediaries and through these shell corporations. At one point, it might have been Andy Biggs, so I don't remember if it was Byron Donalds. In any event, they lay out all these entities set up by the Bidens. There's Rosemont Seneca, there's Rosemont Seneca Alpha, there's Rosemont Seneca this and Rosemont Seneca that. And the point is, the only reason you do all these 27 Rosemont Senecas is you want to hide money. You don't want the IRS to know about it. More importantly, you don't want the American people to find out about it. I should also say you don't want the press to know about it, but of course the press is in on it. They've been covering Biden family corruption. Essentially the press is the PR agents for the Bidens. It's almost like the mafia has hired its own PR company, except this PR company happens to be the Washington Post, the New York Times, and so on. So a frightening scheme. And as Debbie and I watch it, first we go, this is impeachment material. And then after a little while we go, this is treason.